Well, in years to come, when people ask, what do you remember about October 2019? I suspect that people from this area are unlikely to talk about baptism. They might say something about the weather, perhaps an unprecedented snowstorm that knocked out the whole hydro infrastructure. This October has reminded us that there are lots of things that we don't control, that life isn't always easy, and things can get complicated. And those of us who have been baptized know that baptism doesn't protect us from any of that. So what good, then, is baptism? When the aftermath of the storm is not yet over, life is full of its varying challenges, and we finally, I think, have a temperate fall day. Why should we take the time to gather here to baptize these children? Well, for me, there's a bit of a clue in the story about Jacob that we heard read earlier this morning. Jacob has made a lot of questionable ethical choices, and as a result has spent a lot of years of his life running from the consequences of them. So he runs away from home. And where we pick up his story today, he is running back towards home because he's run everywhere else and has nowhere to go. And on the way, he gets word that his estranged brother is coming to meet him, and he might have an army with him. So it seems clear to Jacob that his brother has not forgotten or forgiven. So Jacob sticks with the methods that have worked for him before. He hides half of the wealth he's accumulated, and then he sends a bunch of gifts ahead, hoping to bribe his way into his brother's good graces. And he sends his people and his possessions ahead, but he kind of hangs back to prepare for what might come next, or maybe to decide to take off again, to wrestle with it all. And the Bible describes it as having a fitful night, where he's attacked by what can only seem like a demon. And all night long, the two wrestle, and as daylight approaches, Jacob's adversary offers him a way out, but is kind of costly. Okay, but tell me your name. Well, what's with that? Well, Jacob was named for the fact that when he was born, he appeared to be grabbing his twin brother's heel. And for all of his life to this point, that gesture has kind of become an identity for him, and he has devoted his energy and wit into cheating and trying to get things that really kind of belong to other people. He hasn't been a great guy. So, as theologian David Lowes has noted, when his opponent pins him down and demands to know his name, he's daring Jacob to expose this con man's mask he's been wearing through his life. Jacob may be victorious in this fight, but he will be exposed for who he is. There is a reckoning coming. He will finally get what he deserves. Except that's not what happens. When Jacob gives his name, this strange, amazing wrestling opponent says, no, I don't think so. That's not who you are to me. It's not who you have to be. You are a survivor. You need a new name. How about Israel? One who has wrestled with God and mortals and prevailed. And suddenly, just like that, it's all over. Was it real? Was it a dream? Was it God? I think maybe. And forever marked by this experience, Jacob limps towards his future, but he's not defeated. He has a new name and the character to go with it. He doesn't know what's going to meet him down the road, but he's prepared, and he's willing to meet his brother. He's open to a fresh start. And, spoiler alert, in the story that follows, Jacob and his brother Esau meet. They are reconciled. There is a new start. And from that family, the 12 tribes of Israel trace their lineage even today. So what does that have to do with baptism? Well, this morning, as we welcomed Sophie and Kyler and Everett and Tess and Isla and Heidi, we gave them a new name to add to their own, and we hope an identity that they will carry with them throughout their lives. Beloved child of God. Truth is, they're going to be called many names as they grow up, some of them good and affirming, and many more not. And because, as the saying goes, compliments tend to slide off like Teflon and criticism has a tendency to stick like Velcro, it's easy for us to be defined by the worst names we've been called by ourselves and others. And baptism does not prevent us from wrestling with people and God and the circumstances that life presents to us. Baptism doesn't define the choices we make or the actions we pursue. Baptism doesn't make family life easy or without complications. Baptism will not protect Everett, Tess, Heidi, Kyler, Isla, or Sophie from labels or the names that will come from the world around them. But today we remember there is a deeper identity for all of us to carry us through life's snowstorms and deep challenges. And we hope to inform our choices and guide our actions. We are God's beloved children. So Tess is a child of God, and Heidi is a child of God. Sophie is a child of God. Everett is a child of God. Isla is a child of God. Kyler is a child of God. And if ever they seem like they might forget that, if they take on the labels of the world, it is our task to remember that there was a little more to this October than the storms of our life. It is our job to witness and maybe even help them wrestle, sometimes to stand with them in the struggle, to remind them that they need not be defined by the labels they're given. Indeed, that's what we're all here for now. When any of us are lonely, sitting in the cold or dark, or in danger of being defined by something other than who we truly are, we're invited to come back together in this way, as a family of faith, to remember that none of those labels can devalue us in the sight of God, to hear again our calling to be and live as God's beloved children in the world. For us and for these children, may it be so. Amen.